All right, y'all. Welcome to the live stream. What we're going to be doing today is looking over all the Black Friday deals that are coming, ones that are active now, see what's out there, going forward. We're going to start this with cameras. I think that's going to be the most interesting one. And we'll work our way down through lenses, accessories, tripods, computers to edit on, lighting, because there's a lot of really good Black Friday deals that are going on currently. I'm going to plug in my headphones real quick so I can hear myself talk, and we'll get started. All right. And off we go. As soon as I figure out how to share my... Do we have audio? Check, check. Check, 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 check. Why don't we have audio? All right. So we're going to kick this off just with standard Adorama. Adorama has some really good sales going on right now. Notably, some entry-level cameras. And we're going to start off with the R100. I know that this is on sale. Pretty affordable. Budget-friendly beginner camera. Shoots 4K. 24 megapixel APS-C size sensor. And as you can see here, there's a kit, 18 to 45, which is going to be your standard, basically do everything lens from wide angle landscapes to portraits. And then your 55 to 210, which could be like some light wildlife, also decent sized portrait lens. And we're looking at $499 on this camera. So normally these go for, $800, $700 to $800. They're regularly on sale, but you're getting a huge bundle with this as well. It's going to be everything you need to start pretty much doing photography. So got some lens filters here, cleaning kit, battery charger. Most notably, you're getting the SD card with it and the SD reader. This is going to be good for, if you want to start live streaming, if you're just getting into photography, videography, that kind of stuff. Great first camera, still has the face detect, eye detect, all of the features that you would expect on a new age mirrorless camera. And little carrying kit. Normally, I would say not to go for these because they're upcharging you for them, but this is a pretty good deal getting started. And then let's take a look here. Let's check on the R50. R50. So here you can see just body only. I usually do recommend going body only on a lot of cameras, mainly because a lot of kit lenses leave a lot to be desired. With that being said, normally what I would recommend picking up is either a 35 millimeter f1.8 or a 50 millimeter 1.8. They're pretty budget friendly options, a lot higher quality than you would get with the kit lens. The only problem with those is that you do lose the functionality of zoom. So kind of personal preference, but usually my highest recommendation. This one's going to come with a 32 gig card, your typical like rocket blower, screen cleaner, all that kind of stuff. The card is something you're definitely going to want to upgrade on this one. The R50 is a step up from the R100. So if you're looking for a little bit more of a complete camera, this one does shoot in C-Log and has raw photo. It's still a 24.2 megapixel camera. It does the dual pixel autofocusing, which is notably something that Canon has. 12 frames per second. So you're going to be able to use this to shoot some sports, Still going to have that webcam functionality, streaming functionality. Uh, if you've been to the channel before, you know that I'm a little bit of a Canon fanboy, so that's where we're starting here. This also comes in white. So if you're looking for a white camera, which I think looks nice, and I wish more cameras were offered in white, but same price on that one, $579. This is a great deal on this. Now I'm going to bump over to Canon real quick. Canon is known to have great refurbished deals on a lot of their cameras. The R6 that we're shooting on right now, I believe I'm going to find it on here. $1,600. When I bought this camera new, it was $2,400. It's still a great camera, still has great image quality. This is usually my primary workhorse body when it comes to weddings. And 20 megapixel sensor, so it does leave some to be desired, but the autofocus is great in it. You get the lens selection of like being able to use EF lenses, which you can find on great deals. And we're just going to double down on all the Canon right here. So R5, another great camera. That's usually the my secondary setup. It shoots in RAW, shoots in RAW video as well, which is something that you're not really going to find at this price point unless you go with like a Lumix, or that's pretty much it. Onboard RAW is a pretty amazing feature to have. Most cameras, you're only going to be able to do that over HDMI. $2,519 is an insane deal. And truly, like looking at the R5 Mark II that just came out, that is not as huge of an upgrade as people expected it to be. But let's get back down into the more affordable prices here. So we're going to sort this high to low, or low to high. Let's just do mirrorless cameras. I think DSLRs are kind of a thing of the past now and may not even be worth taking a look at anymore. A lot of camera companies are no longer servicing them, and you know, warranty's still going to cover it. But at this point, if you're not mirrorless, you're behind the times. So R50s, you know, $579, same price here as they are in Adorama. These kit lenses, same thing on the R100, $499, saving $330. That gets you 2 lenses. Some interesting things here. The R10s. This is the baby brother of my second shooter Jen's favorite camera, which is the R7. And this is going to offer a lot of the same features. 24 megapixel. Now, I will say the R7 is 32, which is really nice to have for cropping in, especially if you're shooting wildlife and giving a little bit more pixel depth and pixel density on landscapes, stuff like that. But the R10 is a great camera. It is APS-C censored, 4K. It's going to offer C-Log. I believe it offers C-Log 3 as well. So it's going to give you the ability to, you know, go into DaVinci Resolve or something like that and really push those color grades. Still can use it as a webcam. This one's not a huge deal, only $100 off, but still a nice little camera. And I am curious to see what the refurbished looks like on that. We're going to bounce back here just to the refurbished section. We're getting there. We're getting there. G7X is super hot camera right now, especially on TikTok. You cannot find them anywhere. They are discontinued. I will say, like places like MPB and stuff like that, you can find them. But as you can see, like $599 price tag on Canon, you're going to end up paying $700, $800 for one of these cameras. So if that's something you were looking for, hate to break the bad news to you, but it's going to be a tough time finding that. And a lot of times you're going to be better off going with something like a small FujiFilm or even like one of those R100, R50 bodies. Now we're getting to the good stuff here. R7, 1039. So when we first got this camera, this is our most used camera by Jen, and it does everything. It does weddings, it does wildlife, it does landscapes. Paired with that macro lens, it can do insects, bugs, flowers, like all that fun stuff. This was a $1,500 camera whenever it first came out. Still a great camera, really good for video. It has a lot of pretty high-end video features for how cheap of the price it is. And coming in at 1039, I mean, you really cannot beat that. Unfortunately, it looks like it's out of stock, but let's pop back over to Adorama here and see if they got some in stock. And lo and behold, they do. Now, granted, this is going to be a new one, but for that extra $200, you're getting an SD card, which those SD cards are realistically about $20 right now. And then one of the Green Extreme batteries, the LPE 6NHs. So that's the most up-to-date battery outside of the new ones that came with the R5 Mark IIs. This one offers USB direct charging, which is nice. And it's going to give you the full video features and all that stuff. Full burst. I want to talk about the R7 a little bit just because I didn't fully touch on all the features with it. It is a 32.5 megapixel camera. It has the pre-shooting feature, which is really nice to have, especially if you're shooting sports or wildlife. Getting that extra half a second before you even push the button, just when you're starting to focus, that can save you a lot of really good images that you may be missing. So 7 stops of in-body image stabilization. That's going to be huge for a lot of stuff. Again, sports, wildlife. You're really going to want that, especially on those bigger lenses like the RF 600, the RF 800, the 100 to 500, the RF 200 to 800. Having that in-body image stabilization is going to be a huge help. And then let's take a look at the R8. So the R8 is going to be our first full frame camera that we're going to really dive into on this lineup. Great entry-level camera. Functional for weddings. I would prefer to have something that has dual card slots just so you can, back up your writing. I've never had an SD card fail on me, knock on wood, but that doesn't mean that it can't happen. And that's not something you ever want to happen if you are shooting weddings. Getting into a full frame camera at $1,200. Again, carrying case, cleaning kit, SD card, 4K 60 on this camera. And this is a 24 megapixel full frame sensor. Better low light functionality than the cameras we've previously covered so far. Can upgrade to the 24 to 50 kit. Again, kit lenses. This does have a very dark aperture on it. So 4.5 to 6.3. Now it does have in-body image stabilization. So this might be functional as a video lens. Outside of that, if you're looking to do portraits or something like that, I would err more towards the 50 millimeter 1.8. And then let's check on some Sonys. I know there's a big Sony hype train out there. So digging in, let's hit the photography on Sony. We're going to just check out the cameras only. We're saving the lenses for a little bit later. Now we know like the A12 just came out. It's on pre-order. There's not going to be any Black Friday deals on that. And truly, that's a pretty expensive camera. But I'm curious to see where some of these like A6100, A6400 type cameras fall in here. So let's go ahead and check out mirrorless cameras. A6700. I'm not seeing any Black Friday deals on these other than the kits, which is surprising to me. A6100, $598. So that's not a bad price on that. Comes with a 32 gig card, carrying case, cleaning kit. So pretty standard affair from what we're seeing with all these. Now that is a low pro bag, and low pro does make some really good stuff. 24 megapixel sensor. Sony was known at this point in time when they were producing these cameras to have some of the best autofocus on the market. They were kind of industry standard and leading in that. So face detect, eye detect, 11 frame per second shooting. So it's going to be functional for sports. Sony also had really good low light at this point in time. They still do, but a lot of the market has caught up with them at this point. And I think if I were a new photographer and not bound to any, prior camera system, something like this, the A6100, possibly the A6400, depending on where we're at, this would be a really good option for budding photographers. And I actually have a buddy that shoots on one of these still to this day, and he creates some of the most beautiful images I've seen. Primarily landscape photographer, but really gets the most out of this camera. Does shoot 4K. I don't know if this has S-Log or not, so let's take a peek on that. S-Log, not my favorite thing to edit, but does give you some functionality as far as, editing. So it's going to be 4-bit or 8-bit 422. Does leave some to be desired. Wish we could get like 10-bit out of that. A lot of these newer cameras that you're going to cover are going to be 10-bit 422. One SD card slot. And I'm not seeing S-Log on here anywhere. So you might be stuck with 8-bit 422 with the standard picture profiles on this camera, but still going to be a great video camera. We're on a standard picture profile now. And let's see what the next step up is looking like. The A6400. This is going to be a lot more recommended. And if you have the extra couple bucks to spend, $150 off on this one. And this comes with a lens. Now, this is a power zoom lens. So all you have to do to zoom it is there's that little toggle switch right there. And you just push that in or out, and it's going to widen or tighten your zoom. This also comes with 32 gig card. Again, you're going to want to upgrade that card pretty quickly. Something like the SanDisk Pros, the black cards that are 200 megabyte read writes, better option. And I did see some sales on those that we're going to go over here in a few. SD reader looks like a pretty basic one, but we'll get you by. Cleaning kit, and some filters in there, as well as your little sling bag. So this is going to have HLG, which is basically a type of HDR. That's a 10-bit 422 as well. Better video features on this. 8 frames per second, 24 megapixels, 4K 30. And then the lens that's included with this one is a 16 to 50, 3.5 to 5.6 power zoom. I work at Best Buy during my day job, and I will say I sell a lot of these. It's still a great camera to this day. Coming in under $1,000, like you can do a lot with this camera. So much. Unfortunately, the 6700s aren't on sale, and the 6700 is a power-packed little camera. And I have my doubts here with Fujifilm, but there may be hope. So Fujifilm is one of my most used cameras. I use an XS-20. Prior to that, I had an XT-20. For APS-C cameras, these are super powerful. The new XT-50, great camera, 40 megapixel sensor, 6.2K open gate. Open gate's a nice little thing to have. And I'm gonna scrub through here and see what kind of deals we got on Fujifilm. XM5, newest camera out. No sale on it, but a lot of the same features that the XS20 has, minus the IBIS. And you with Fujifilm, the cool thing is you get the film simulation, so you can bake in a look. You can custom tailor those to how you want it to look. They're constantly updating stuff. They do leave a little bit to be desired with their autofocus, but it's passable. And the XM5, I was super impressed with what they were able to pack into this little camera at $900. And that's $900 with a power zoom lens, 15 to 45. Again, standard affair zoom lens for a kit. And then you can get into the professional models. Black Friday deal on the X-T5 right now. The thing I like about the FujiFilms, they're going to be classic style bodies. They kind of look like the old SLR film cameras, and they feel good in the hand. They're light. There's a huge selection of aftermarket lenses for them, so you can get into a lens pretty cheap for them. A lot of people like to customize these, add the different shutter buttons, different cages, color decals, that kind of stuff. Batteries are pretty great on these. Video features, also awesome. The colors straight out of Fujifilm are beautiful, albeit a little over sharpened, but that's pretty easily fixable in post. This is going to be the highest megapixel sensor we've hit so far, other than the R5, of course, at 40.2 megapixels. And this is a backside illuminated camera. So backside illuminated is going to help this in low light. And again, this is going to be for your higher end photographers. There is a cult following with Fujifilm, needless to say. And they've kind of earned that. They're great cameras. XS-20, my personal favorite, not on sale. Still, it's basically a baby XH2, XH2S rather. Huge video features on this, but I'm not going to dive too much into it because no sale. It's funny, my wife's upstairs and I can hear myself talking just at a slight delay. And it's kind of thrown me off a little bit. We're going to move on to Nikon. Nikon is something that has piqued my interest as of late. And despite being so deep into the Canon system, I've had some thoughts about possibly selling everything and switching over to Nikon. The Nikon colors are just beautiful. With them acquiring Red as of recently, able to get Red Log, I think that's a huge deal, and I think that's going to trickle down into a lot of cameras in the very near future. Z6 III, newest one out. Great camera. This is the camera that I've been keeping my eyes on because it is pretty impressive. Partially stacked sensor. I don't know how I feel about that, but it is, since it's a stack sensor, it's supposed to have faster readout speeds, help with jelloing effect, all that kind of stuff. 6K 60 internal RAW. Internal RAW is a huge deal. Z-mount lenses, that's your typical standard affair. With the kit, that's a 24-7 to be f4. Great lens. Not going to give you like the huge bokeh that like a 2.8 would or something like a f2 would, but still a really good lens. We got some package deals with this one here with a battery, cleaning kit, sling bag. At this point, any of these package deals, most of them are going to be the same price as you would pay for just the camera only. Now, this one does have a really good card with it, and these are the cards that we use in the Fujifilm. So that's a usually $60 SD card. Adds a little bit of value in there, gets you shooting right off the bat. We're going to go back to some more budget-friendly ones here. Now, they did just drop a Z50 Mark II, and I'm curious to see if there's any deals on that with how new it is, because it was within the last couple of weeks that we got the Z50 Mark II, and that is a crop sensor camera, but still like a lot of impressive stuff in it, and it does include, there's the Z50 Mark II right there. Let's take a look at that. $906.95 on back order. Oh, so we're not getting that one till January, unfortunately. Something to look forward to, but we'll go ahead and bypass that one for the time being. The original Z50, I would bet, is on sale, though. Huge kit right there. Z50, 2 lenses, 16 to 50, again, standard fare. 50 to 250, 4.5 to 6.3. How much you can push these cameras in low light and, bump that ISO and everything. You could use this, for a lot of sporting events, wildlife during the day. As you get into the evening hours, not going to be too handy, but garbage SD card with it. Nice low pro bag, some lens filters. I can't speak on the quality of these lens filters, but they look okay. SD card reader, which is a nice little thing to have. Cleaning kit, and then some software that you'll probably never use. But the lens kit, that's a huge deal. And then without the lens, I mean, even that, I would bypass the essentials kit on this one. Go with the base. Save yourself a few bucks unless you plan on learning Flash really early in your career. And 756, not too bad. Also back ordered. Basically a 21 megapixel APS-C size camera, 4K video. I do know they did some pretty good updates on this thing. I'm not super familiar with the Nikon system, so they may be, I mean, obviously it's not going to be as good as the Z50 Mark II, but again, great beginner camera. Nikon has beautiful color science, probably some of the best on the market, I would argue, even better than Canon. Don't tell anyone I told you that, but Canon's known for its skin tones. Nikon, nice saturated images. I do want to touch on this. I am an Adorama affiliate, so this typically the site that I use between here and Best Buy, employee discount at Best Buy. The points here, especially if you do the Adorama card, they do add up. And I was able to knock, I think, like $600 off of buying my Blackmagic just because of how many points I had. Basically got my cage, V-mount battery, handle, and some other little accessories pretty much for free. Now, that is going to be like a line of credit and everything, so something to think about. But if you're looking to get started in a photography business, it's a viable option there. Something that just caught my eye here on their featured deals, FX30. So this is part of Sony's cinema line. Sony's cinema line is very video centric, obviously, as cinema would be. Still shoot photos on this, but it's a very video forward camera. This is a APS-C or Super 35 format. It does have S-Cinetone, S-Log3. You can add user LUTs to it, which is a feature that you're not going to see in a lot of cameras, especially around this price point. $200 off on this. For the base, accessories kit, adds you a battery, adds you a really good SD card, and then that little sling bag again. And then let's check out this Pro bundle. So that's going to give you a CF Express Type A. That's the standard Sony CF Express, faster read-write speeds. These do get expensive because they're pretty proprietary to Sony. And I don't know how I feel about it. I wish kind of everyone would just go CF Express Type B. It's the newest technology. I feel like it's the best out there outside of going to a solid state drive. And with how expensive these get, whatever. But great deal on the FX30 by itself. And as we get some people in here, like, feel free to ask any questions. I love the technology behind cameras and stuff like that. So I'm happy to answer anything. If you are a specific type of shooter, or if you're looking to become a specific type of shooter, I 9 times out of 10 can kind of double down and figure out what you need. We're going to move on to the lens section. We've spent about a half an hour on cameras, and I think I've got a pretty good grasp on stuff. We didn't check Amazon for much. We'll pop over here real quick. Maybe some gift ideas for the photographer in your life. Fujifilm Instax is as much crap as these things get. I love them. We use these at weddings. We actually just kind of handed these out at our own wedding. The Instax is a superior product to the Polaroids. The Polaroids are really cool and everything. They do still have a mirror in them, whereas the Instaxes are a direct transfer to the film. I feel like the Instaxes are a little bit easier to carry around and stuff like that too. And we're going to see some lens deals on here. TT Artisan. I've used some of these lenses. The autofocus on them is a little bit slow, but if you're using it for photography only, they are pretty good. Viltrox 13 millimeter. Favorite lens that I shoot on the Fujifilm. This is like my daily lens. Blogs, vlogs. Was going to be the lens that I used when I was live streaming off the Fujifilm, but couldn't get the Fujifilm set up, so we're on the R6 today. F1.4 is a super wide aperture. It's going to let a ton of light in. These will be great in low light situations. This is my favorite camera for when I'm filming receptions and stuff like that, just getting right in the mix of people. It adds like a really cool perspective and shows a lot that's going on. Also, a wonderful landscape lens. So basically $73 off of this. Let's see what item we get for free with it. Or it's not going to click on it. But I cannot recommend this lens enough here. It's very solidly built, all metal body. Even the lens cap on this thing's metal. Viltrox has really started pushing out some good stuff over these past couple years compared to some of their older lenses. And I cannot vouch for them enough. They even have like a pro line now and have started releasing some cinema lenses, which is pretty cool. You know, your standard lens hoods, if you have like the X100, X100 Mark VI, or VI, whatever everyone's calling it. Some cool little small rig accessories, that kind of stuff. But not seeing any cameras under Fujifilm here, so we're going to go ahead and push on. So let's jump back to Adorama. We're just going to go right along to mirrorless lenses. Now, something I do want to comment on, don't feel the need to just go directly to mirrorless lenses. You can get a ton of really good deals on refurbished lenses, and with all the mirrorless bodies that we have nowadays, there's a ton of adapters, especially for like EF glass. Canon EF glass is known to be some of the best glass on the market. It is very characteristic. It's still pretty sharp. That's pretty much what we use in a professional capacity on all of our cameras. We've mostly switched over to EF because it works on the Fujifilm. It works on, if we would switch to a Nikon, it works on the Canons, it works on the Blackmagics. You can even adapt it over to Sony's and stuff like that. So something to keep an eye out for is if you're not looking to spend an arm and a leg on a new mirrorless style lens, check out some of the old EF and the Nikon F-mount lenses and see if you can get your hands on an adapter for a reasonable price. Just make sure that adapter has contacts on it so it can function with the autofocus on these mirrorless cameras. And I know I'm kind of skipping Panasonic here, but I did a little bit of looking beforehand and didn't see any eye-catching deals on any of the Panasonics. New RFS 7.8 millimeter fisheye. If anyone wants to do some VR stuff, it's not on sale, but I think it's a pretty cool lens. And we're going to narrow this down right now. We'll just go with Canon for the time being. And let's see if we can just set it to savings. Cool. 15 to 30. Good little landscape lens. Image stabilization with it. You could use this for vlogging, use it for landscape. Image stabilization is going to be a nice, helpful little thing. Same thing. And looks like a UV filter on there and a cleaning cloth. May as well get those for free while you're at it. 28 millimeter pancake. I love all of Canon's pancake lenses at f2.8. We have the 40 millimeter for the old EF. Probably still one of my favorite budget-friendly lenses to this day. It's a perfect perspective, and I can't say enough about it. You can get them for like $50 too. So if you're looking to adapt a Canon lens to like one of these new RF mounts, 40 millimeter is a great starter lens. 2.8, $249, $50 off, and that's already a pretty cheap lens to begin with. And as you can see, this does just have a manual focus, autofocus, and then as you set it to the center, it gives you that control ring. 9 times out of 10, you're going to leave this just in autofocus. Still pretty high quality images that I've seen out of it. Great reviews. That's not a bad pickup there. That would pair nicely with like your R100, your R50. 16 millimeter, same thing. This was the lens that I used for quite a while until we switched over to the 16 to 35 f2.8. Good budget-friendly landscape lens, good budget-friendly vlogging lens. The autofocus was really good on it. I had good results out of it. Didn't have too much warping or anything like that. Our first L series deal, so $200 off of that. Or, well, technically, yeah, $200. So we do actually own one of these. I very rarely get to shoot it. The wife takes it most of the time, and she's, typically our flat lay and ring shot person, so works really nicely in her hands. The the EF macro was also known to be like one of the best macro lenses out there. 1.4 times magnification. You can actually maybe throw an extension tube on this, or one of those like dome filters on the front end and even get closer. What I really like about this lens is this SA control. So what that is it's spherical aberration control. It allows you in body to kind of soften up the image and tailor it to how you like. So if you're looking to get some stylized shots, this is also a great portrait lens. Medium telephoto works great on, of course, the R series cameras. It has the built-in image stabilization, which is going to help with that. It pairs superbly with the R7. It's also going to pair nicely with the R50, the R100, pretty much any of the Canon camera bodies. And if you're a wedding photographer looking to do flat lays or detail shots or something like that, or even just get a little bit of extra reach versus like a 50 millimeter or something like that, getting started out, this is L series glass. So it's considered one of their professional line. $200 off. And it's a amazing lens. 2.8 leaves some to be desired. Just if you could get a little bit brighter, like a f2 or something like that, that'd be great. But no complaints from me. And then as you see right under that, we have the little kit that comes with it, the lens cleaners, the lens pen. It has a sling kit, some filters. The cleaning kits are nice. I'm not gonna argue with that. More kits. Most of these are not going to come with lens hoods, just as a heads up. So if you're a lens hood person, you might want to throw one of those in your cart. 15 to 35, $300 off. Not a bad deal on that. I see that going refurbished significantly cheaper. It's been out for a while now. We'll bump over to Canon's website here in a few and check on that. 24 to 240, $100 off. That's kind of a do everything lens. Heard good things about these. Not shot anything on it. We do have a few of these in store, and I've taken photos on this on the R8. It seemed fine to me. When you're punched into 240, you will be able to get some background blur, even with it being a 6.3. This is good sports. Decent wildlife, depending on what you're shooting and how close you are to it, of course. But if you want to take everywhere, do everything lens, this will do most of it as long as you're decent light. 70 to 200s are $300 off right now. 70 to 200 is a phenomenal wedding lens, especially where you can stay back, punch in, and be out of the way for your wedding ceremony. The new ones are out. I think it's like the RFPZs or whatever it is. Their video centric lens. So this did drop in price a little bit. These are, wonderful for portraits, wonderful for weddings, sports. If you're shooting volleyball, if you're shooting basketball, any kind of indoor sports, this is going to be your go-to lens. You can see they have a few different kits with it. It's not a bad price for a brand new one. Kind of same thing on that, though. I do foresee these going on Canon's refurbished sale a good bit cheaper, maybe even breaking under $2,000. 100 to 500. If you're a wildlife photographer, this is the lens that you want. Exceptional image quality on that. 4.5 to 7.1. Without going to like a $5,000 or $6,000 starting lens, this is probably as good as you're going to get with a wildlife lens. Also great for sports. Image stabilization on it. That image stabilization is also going to pair with your in-body image stabilization on most of the Canon RFs and work in tandem. That can get you up to I think it's 8 or 9 stops, which is pretty insane. Some bundle kits with it, your cleaner, UV filter. And I want to comment on this real quick because we're seeing so many UV filters. I am not a fan of putting cheap glass in front of expensive glass. Lens hoods, for sure. Put those on there. They're not only going to help protect the lens if you would drop it or something like that, but they're also going to help control the light coming in. UV filters, I just feel like if you're putting a $20 glass in front of a, $3,000 piece of glass, there's going to be some diminishing returns on that. They may save you. I'm not one to tell you what to do, but I don't like the thought of it. Some more little deals. RF 35mm. We still have one of those. Jen uses it quite a bit. And good video lens, especially budget friendly. Fisheye, we're going to stay off of that. I'm not going to dig too deep into it because I don't understand it. There's the new IS USM Z lens. So this just came out, not expecting a deal on it. As you can see, $3,000 pretty dollars for that. This is one of Canon's new lenses that actually kind of struck me as pretty interesting. And they're saying that it has basically L series image quality is the 28 to 70 f2.8. That's going to be pretty close to a 24 to 70, which is over double the price. And you're only losing 4mm on the wide end of it. So that would be a good do everything kind of travel lens, portrait lens, wedding lens, that kind of stuff if you're getting started out. Black Friday deal on the zoomable prime 28 to 70. Knocking $300 off of that. Again, most of these you're going to see some pretty good deals on Canon's refurbished. These are 2 new lenses here. These just came out within the past few weeks. As you can see, they're still on pre-order, so not expecting any deals on those, but nice semi-budget friendly professional L series glass. 50mm 1.2 is almost double this price, so something to take into consideration. There's your 50mm 1.8. So if you're just getting started, the nifty 50s are hands down going to be the best investment you can make. Their image quality for how cheap they are is par none. Every camera company has one of these. Sony has one. Fujifilm has an equivalent. Nikon's going to have one of these. The 1.8 is going to allow you some low light. The price of it is just, it's mind-boggling that they make 50mm this cheap. We have 2 of these, 3 of these, something like that. Never hurts to have this lens, and it's small, it's compact, fits in a bag very nicely. You can easily throw this in a sling bag. Kind of do a lot with it. Plus it has image stabilization, which I did not know. I don't see that on the name of it, but that'll help for video and stuff like that. Let's jump over to Canon's website while we're checking out Canon stuff and hit their refurbished lenses. I'm going to mark this as ones that are in stock because these are going to be selling like hotcakes. Canon has awesome deals on their refurbished products. The nice thing with Canon refurbished, and I do want to comment on this because some people are a little bit skeptical about buying refurbished stuff. Canon goes over this with a fine tooth comb. A lot of times you will see better quality out of their refurbished products than they come off the line because they are double checking them, triple checking them, and any potential issues that they had, they're going to fix. Refurbished 24 millimeter. That's a great focal length for video. Image stabilization with that, f1.8. Can't beat it. I'm going to compare that real quick, just out of curiosity, to what a full price one would be. So over $100 off. Typically comes in at $600. You're getting that for $479. So what's that? $120 off? Not a bad deal. 16 to 35 f4 with image stabilization. Very akin to the lens that we're shooting on right now, except for we're on the 2.8. I do like the 2.8 better. Most of your camera bodies are going to have some sort of image stabilization on them now, so just my preference. But that's a great lens. L series glass for just over $1,100. 24 to 105 at this point. Just go with the RF one. 50 millimeter 1.4. Not a fan of that one. Have heard bad things about it. I don't think the build quality on it is as good as the 50 millimeter 1.8. Steer clear of that one, in my opinion. 85 1.4 for $12.99, $140 off. That is my absolute favorite lens. Image stabilization on it works for video. The most beautiful portrait lens we own, like hands down. The bokeh on it is insane. The build quality on it is unmatched. We got ours used as well, and I think we paid $1,100 for it from just a normal guy. So to get this direct from Canon after it's been gone over with the extra 1-year warranty that comes with it, all that stuff, that is a deal that I would jump on if you're looking into that caliber of lens. RF 24 to 105, great do everything lens, f4, image stabilization. You can see that's the same price as the EF one. Better option than the EF, sharper. I think more functional, lighter. I'm curious to see if there is a 40 millimeter that pops up on here. As I said, I love my 40 millimeter EF lens. Got some extenders. Those are EF extenders. There's your EF 100 millimeter macro. So you can see that's a pretty comparable price to even the RF one. So if you're in the mirrorless cameras for Canon, may as well jump on the RF one. 24 to 70. No deal on that. So it doesn't look like there's too many impressive deals on the Canon stuff. That refurbished EFS 10 to 22 for my landscape photographers out there, something to think of. Again, not a bright lens, but most of the time if you're shooting landscape, you're on a tripod and you're wanting to stop down to f8, f9, f11, something like that anyway. So something to consider. And that's super wide. That's going to work out to like a 16 millimeter on an APS-C camera. That is only going to be effective on APS-C cameras too. I just wanted to mention that. Now, while we're in lieu of these Canon lenses, something I did want to touch on. Sigma is now producing lenses for Canon's mirrorless lineup. And I was checking on these earlier this week. Actually dropped a few like little shorts on YouTube and stuff to point these out. They are expanding their RF lineup. They finally got approval from Canon to start producing RFS lenses. Now, some of these are not going to be out yet. It looks like potentially January is their drop date. But the main one I wanted to touch on here is this 18 to 50. So you can go into the RF, $524. So if you're a R100, R50, R7, R10, any of the APS-C Canon sensors, this is going to be a 27 to 75 equivalent at f2.8. So you're basically getting, in essence, a 24 to 70 f2.8. To put that into perspective, that is a camera or a lens that regularly goes for $1,400 or more. When you get into the RF ones, you're looking at $2,000 or more. This is an APS-C, so it's of course only going to function on the APS-C cameras, but Sigma is known to have really, really sharp lenses, and their autofocus, from everything that I've been reading and everything, the autofocus is good on this. So if you even have like an APS-C camera as a backup, this is kind of a no-brainer to me. The lightness of it, the image quality of it, the functionality of it, it's pretty much going to be untouched at this price point. And then of course that's another what is that, $75 off, $65 off. So not a huge markdown, $75 in savings. Math. We will be buying one of these. So just wanted to touch on that real quick. And all of these Sigma lenses are going to be good. 10 to 18, f2.8, huge, wide lens, great for landscapes, going to be good for vlogs. F2.8, again, you're not going to find a ton of lenses at that aperture that wide to begin with. And then because they are such a specialty lens, they're typically going to be pretty expensive too. And then if you want to like kind of pre-order any of these are all going to be great lenses, all f1.4s. 56 millimeter f1.4 is going to be a great portrait lens. This is another one that we're looking at picking up. $529 on that on the Canon RF. Not a bad price for a 1.4. This is pretty close to like that 85 millimeter equivalent. So it's going to have beautiful bokeh, great portrait lens. And we'll go ahead and get out of the Canon realm before I continue gushing. What was our next one? Let's hit some Fujifilm X mount lenses. I'm thinking we'll see some Viltroxes on here. Let's see here. Percent savings. This seems to be the best way to search these. All these lens babies and stuff like that, I've never used them. I hear people like them. They're all manual focus. I guess for getting some cool in-body camera effects, why not? Not my thing, though. All right, so here we are. Getting into some of these. Kit lens, 16 to 50. Not heard anything good about this one. If you're going for a kit lens on the Fujifilms, I think the 15 to 55 is the way to go. 16 to 80 f4. Great do-all lens. $200 off on that. If you want to be one and done with a lens, this might be the way to go. 8 millimeter. I don't know what purpose you would have for going that wide, but if you need to go that wide, that one's $200 off. Of course, we are going to scroll up on some kits here. Wonder if they have these Fringer adapters. I love my Fringer adapter that goes from EF to XF mount. I don't see any on here. Let's bump over to Fringer and check that out. These things are pretty expensive, worth every penny in my opinion. Pro 3 built-in electronic aperture ring. This is the one that we have. We're almost on an hour now. $349, no deal on it. Not currently, at least. Those would be nice if they go on sale. I love my Fringer adapter. I primarily shoot Canon glass on my Fujifilm. Makes it a little bit heavier, but I don't think you can touch Canon's image quality. Ooh, nice. 56 millimeter f1.4. That's for L mount. There is an X mount. A little bit more expensive, but still a chunk of change off of there. 75 bucks. Good portrait lens. You gotta pair this with like an XT5, XT30, XT50, something like that. You'll get beautiful portraits out of this thing. These ones have the filters on them with it. Cleaning kit. Standard affair with the kits that are coming with these nowadays. Another one, 23 millimeter f1.4. So you're going to see like a bunch of f1.4s from Sigma. They're known to have really good ones. Looks like there's deals on pretty much all of those. 30 millimeter, 23 millimeter. That's going to be a great landscapey-ish lens. I know a lot of guys like the 30 millimeter for street photography. So if you're looking to get into street photography, that might be a really good option for you for under 300 bucks, which is kind of crazy. We're going to hit some cinema lenses here. I am going to kind of bypass on any of these cinema lenses just for sake of not convoluting this too much. Let's see if we can Viltrox. Here we go. That's what I like to see. Pro 75 f1.2 for under 500 bucks. So this is part of their Pro line. Has the clicked aperture ring on it. F1.2 is insane for this price. Wasn't a bad deal to begin with at 580, but 87 bucks off. Absolutely wild. Again, the build quality on these Viltrox is, I was, upon buying the 13 millimeter, I was impressed. And that's technically not even part of their Pro line. You throw this on an XH2, an XS-20, any of their XT line, you've got a nice portrait set up there. And it's going to kind of do it all because that's going to be phenomenal in low light. 85 millimeter, haven't heard too much about that. I don't like when they don't have the clicked aperture rings on them, or even if it's a declicked one. I think when you're going to the Fujifilm mount, you almost have to have that aperture ring on there for it to be effective. A 27 millimeter f1.2, again, super, super good low light lens. 491, almost 100 bucks off. 27 millimeter is going to work out to like, I think a 40 millimeter equivalent, basically, or very close to it at least. And then you got some of these, we'll say cheaper ones, the f1.4s. I've heard good things about them. They have good ratings. Not something I've ever personally, pulled the trigger on. Let's check some E-mount lenses. Make our way over to Sony. Boom, 18 to 50 right there, 75 bucks off. Same deal that's going on with the Canon one. 28 to 70, 200 bucks off. That also is going to be a full frame one from the looks of it. Yeah, lens format, full frame. So you're not going to touch another lens f2.8 with that zoom range under 800 bucks, under 700 bucks even for a full frame. That's crazy. Tamron also is up there with Sigma as far as their image quality, their sharpness, their autofocusing, that kind of stuff. Ooh, we got a wildlife one here. Wildlife and sports. Sigma 150 to 600. This is the sports one. So this is their higher level one, what they would consider their professional ones. They do have a contemporary, but the contemporary is all plastic body. So this thing is going to be heavy, but with that comes superior image quality. 95 millimeter front thread is huge, but the 150 to 600 zoom range and at f5 to f6.3, outside of going to your professional level, like primes, you're not getting a better deal than that. 200 bucks off, 12.99. I would say this is worth the cost. And there's a multitude of reviews on how good this lens is. A lot of wildlife photographers, this is their first lens. A lot of sports photographers, this is their first lens. I can't tout that one enough. And again, Sigma is, outside of going native glass, Sigma's going to be some of the best that you can get. Tamron 28 to 200, kind of a do everything lens, a little bit expensive, but 100 bucks off. Of course, it's going to have the kit, all that crap in there. PC software, Mac software, some lens filters, lens pen. Not sure what the purpose of that thing is. And then your little carrying bag. It's never a bad thing to have, you know, a little sleeve to slide these things into. It's a nice looking lens though. Third-party access is one of those things that just really Canon cripple hammer hurts my soul. There's so many lenses out there. Again, 28 to 70 f2.8, $799. So many third-party lenses out there that are good that we just don't get access to because Canon has kept their RF mount closed off for such a long period of time. They're starting to open up a little bit, but we'll see how it comes in the future. Fortunately, they're only opening up currently for APS-C lenses, so maybe we'll get some full frames sooner or later. FE 50 millimeter. There we go. Again, back to the nifty 50. This should be your first lens, no matter what. If you're just getting into photography, just do it. You know, 50 bucks off on this. It was only 250 to begin with. It's a pretty, 20% off. Pretty chunk of change there. 50 millimeters can kind of do a little bit of everything. 10 to 20 f4, good landscape lens there. Not a Black Friday deal, but a little chunk off of that. 85 millimeters, Sigma 1.4, almost $1,000. I will say I'm going to kind of breeze through these just because I'm not a Sony guy and I don't have as much familiarity with Sony as I do with Canon and with Fujifilm. If any of you do out there, feel free to chime in, let me know. 70 to 200, of course, is like a standard professional lens. Kind of stated this earlier. The 70 to 200, just all around good wedding lens, especially when you're at the ceremony time, being able to just kind of sit in the back and snipe shots without having to get in the way. 30 millimeter 1.4. I love like the 24 to 35 focal length for video. So 75 bucks off on that. If you're looking to shoot some stylized video, it's an APS-C, so that's going to work for that 6100 that we covered earlier, the 6400 that we covered earlier. Even that FX30 would not be a bad option on that. Ooh, some Viltroxes. 16 millimeter 1.8, 87 bucks off. I think this Viltrox too, they've started equipping these with these LCD screens, and I've seen a few creators upload their logos or like a little intro script or something like that onto these, which is in essence useless, but I think it's a cool feature. So I think seeing like the Graham Media logo pop up whenever you power your camera on your lens would be like a cool little thing. Dustproof construction, blah, blah, blah. 1.8 on a 16 millimeter. That's all you need to know. It does have the aperture ring on it too, which, like I said, I really like that. I wish that there were more Canon lenses that did that, and we are starting to see those, but they're trickling in so far. Sigma 60 to 600. great lens right there. I've heard nothing but good things about this lens. It is very expensive for what it is, but that's what you pay for one lens to do it all. And I would say like this is the one lens to do it all. Not a Black Friday deal, but 163 bucks off. I think we are about due to make our way to some accessories. And I think this is where you're going to see some of the biggest deals. Truly, I have a list of some lighting stuff that for sure will be good options. And basically, oh no, I'm out of water. Lighting's where you're going to see the biggest chunks of change. Lighting is arguably one of the most important things next to actually having a camera. So I'm excited about that section. Not seeing any real crazy deals here. Ooh, 200 to 500, 5.6. Now that is, oh, that's a full frame too, according to this. Now I think that's an F series. That's an F series, so you would have to get the adapter, but man, what a great deal on that. 340 bucks off. I would assume that there's a lot of people that use that as a beginning wildlife lens. I mean, that's, 100 to 500 on the Canon. That's technically brighter on the long end. You use that on a Z50 Mark II or one of their APS-C cam. The Z50 Mark II is the only one that I can think of that's actually like worth anything right now. But that's something worth looking into. It looks like it has like a lens hood on there, cleaning kit, standard filters and all that. 24 to 70 f2.8. I wish I was more familiar with Nikon. I need to research into them a little bit more. I just know that their camera bodies have been impressive lately. I don't know anything about their lenses, so I'm kind of just shooting in the dark here. You ask me about a Canon lens, I can tell you pretty much anything, all the way back to like the FDs. I still use, FD lenses on, especially for like video stuff. Sony, I can meander my way through. Nikon, I'm kind of in the dark here. All right. So let's hit the lighting section. So we're going to call this the lighting section. I'm going to start on Adorama just because I know that they carry Flashpoint, and Flashpoint is a subsidiary of Godox or a sister company, whatever you want to call it. Those are the flashes that we use. They've been great for us. We use these for obviously weddings. There's a point that you need flash at weddings, and if you are a wedding photographer, I recommend learning it just because it is going to change the dynamic of a lot of your photos. We'll start with on-camera flashes here, just because that's going to be the most common type. And also, I think those are going to be like some of the better deals. Let's look. Flashes and on-camera lighting. Boom. XR2. 118 bucks off. This is the exact flash that we use for pretty much everything. Now, these are going to be brand specific, so make sure if you're buying one that you're checking your compatibility, whether it's made for Canon, made for Sony, made for Fujifilm, Nikon, etc., etc. I love the round head flash. We put like a big diffuser globe on it. This will fill a room pretty easily. I have even used these during daylight just to kind of add a little bit extra fill and like a catch light in the eyes. Love these. For the price to begin with at $317 is already going to be cheaper than your native flashes. And then like these Black Friday deals with the kits, I actually think this is when I got mine last year. And then being able to remote trigger these. So like the remote triggers for these also work for the Godoxes. They're the same like bandwidth or frequency or hertz or whatever you want to call it. So even if you do have some like pre-existing Godox flashes, you can pair your Godox trigger with this this flash, and vice versa. You can pair your Flashpoint trigger with a Godox flash. You can get tons of modifiers for these. The batteries on them last a substantial amount of time, and that's like one of the big things about upgrading to a flash like this is having the rechargeable battery is so nice. Not having to worry about like fumbling around with AA s, AAAs, whatever. They got some of these cool Lux ones. They call these ones flashbacks, but Godox has a Lux version. Old school looking. These would look cool on like a Nikon ZF or any of the Fujifilm cameras. Some of these other flatter flash points. So there's quite a bit of sales on all of these, like across the board. So if you're looking for a flash, Adorama flash point, look no further. Now I will say I don't have experience with these ones. Truly, with the sale that's going on, just go with the good one. Go with that XR2. Spend the extra $100. And then we are going to jump over to Amazon now. I'm going to compare the prices to the Godoxes just out of curiosity. I feel like they're going to be pretty similar. Some little diffusers here. We actually have some of those. I liked them while I needed them. Godox V850. 860 is going to be the closest thing not being a round head to the XR2. Let's see if we can find a V860 here. I'm hoping there's a deal on that for you guys. Let's just search it directly. Some panels. That's not a bad price for 2 video panels. Godox V850. Wondering if they're sold out already. All right. Not showing up here. So, Flashpoint it is. That's the way to go. Ah, there we are. Olympus, Panasonic. There's your triggers right there. Not super familiar with this one. This is the one that we use, the X Pro. Great trigger. I've had no issues with it. So V863, which is going to be the closest comparable to the XR2 outside of the V1, which we'll check over on here in a second. You're looking at $10 more on this one. So Adorama is the better deal on that. Let's check the Godox V1. There's the Neewer. This is cool little diffuser. I have one of these. It comes with us a lot, so just something to think about there. $11, not on a Black Friday deal, but so cheap. Does it even need to be? All right, so there's a V1 there. Let's jump on this and see if there's anything going on with it. Currently unavailable. Again, Adorama. It's the way to go. Now, I am going to jump into a specific brand here because Amaran by Aperture or Aperture by Amaran or whatever it is, there's a lot of really good deals on a lot of their lighting. Most of it's like 25% off. And then we will check out these small rigs at some point too. But I want to touch on these Apertures real quick. Aperture, Amaran, there's probably not a creator out there that doesn't use them. They are plastic bodies, whereas the Aperture or the Amaran ones, or wait, I get them confused all the time. The Aperture ones are going to be metal bodies, built a little bit better, but like as far as budget friendly, like professional lights, this is kind of the industry standard right now. So you get a 150 watt cob light up here, normally $359, on sale for $287. This would be kind of like a one and done light. Does everything, has the RGB, nice powerful light. Unless you need to go to like a 200 or a 300, which most times you don't. I do want to point out this back here is a 200, and I'm running at like 50% right now. So very rare that you're going to need something that bright unless you're like simulating daylight or something like that. Even there, 200 watt bicolor. So this isn't going to give you the RGB, but it is going to give you a wide variety of the like daylight looks, I guess is what you want to call it. Daylight's what, 5600 Kelvin. So this all the way down. I think these go down to 2700 Kelvin and go all the way up to like 9000 or something like that. 2700 to 6500. So a good bit above daylight. Look at that. Capital One shopping savings alert. eBay. Of course, it's going to be a little bit cheaper on eBay. Nice body on it. These are all chip on board. It's going to come with the power supply, ventilated out the top, has the beauty dish with it. Nice little light there for under 300 bucks. Lights can get expensive, like crazy expensive too. So as you can see, like there's, again, this is considered a budget friendly light, 2500 Kelvin to 7500 Kelvin cob light. This is a 300 water, almost 500 bucks. Now, like that's, again, in the grand scheme of things, not a bad deal, but that's a lot of money if you're just getting started out. These are the ones that I wanted to touch on here. So nice, small, portable. The Amaran app, I guess, from everything that I've heard and read, is probably one of the best light control apps on the market. I have used like the Lume Cube. I've used the Neewer one. I've even used the, and those all, while they work, leave some to be desired. So eventually, like our plan is to switch over to all Aperture Amaran stuff, but you know, when the budget allows it. The nice thing is you can power these off of V-mounts. So let me show you on the side here. Little V-mount slide. You can run like a Type-C or even a D-tap to Type-C on that. It's going to take a standard Bowens mount, so you can do all kinds of different, like the lantern we have back there. Also, you can power it by AC, so like just plug straight into the wall, which is nice. These are easy to cart around, small. 60 watts is going to be plenty of power for most situations. So if you're looking for lights, and as we stated earlier, lights being one of the most important things in the grand scheme of like photography and especially videography, you may as well start investing into them now. Now, there is a cheaper one too that is not bicolor, that's just daylight. Where are you at here? 60D, so 135 on that one. Now, this is going to be just 5600 Kelvin. It does have lighting effects, which is cool. Truly, like, lighting effects are not something you're going to use very often, but when you do need them, they're there. 135 on a professional style light. That's and one that is as quality as Amaran and Aperture. Now, the small rigs are also an interesting one here. Now, I'm not familiar with the small rig app, nor am I as knowledgeable on the small rigs color accuracy. So another thing with Aperture and Amaran is like they, based off of the ratings and everything, I think their CRI is like 98%. So that may be something to think about, something to consider. But this one goes 2500 Kelvin to 10,000 Kelvin. Power bank clamp edition. So this comes with the power bank in the handle. Adjustable right there on board. So this is going to be chip on board, of course. Don't know what kind of crazy person is attaching one of these via Magic Arm onto their camera, but by all means, go for it. You will be able to power these via V-mount as well, like via D-tap to Type-C, but does not look like there is a V-mount bracket directly on this body. 75 minutes of use on that. I would rather just do a V-mount. That's just my personal opinion. It's kind of why I'm leaning toward those Aperture Amaran style lights. The small rigs, I'm not saying they're bad or anything like that. If that's what tickles your fancy, by all means, go for it. But small rig is a kind of do everything company, and they're known for their camera cages and that kind of stuff. Their accessories, they're not known for their lights, whereas Aperture Amaran is a lighting company. So I feel like that's something to be said. Tube lights. Love a good tube light. Again, Amaran, it's going to give you that, I forget what their app's called, but their app control. Tube lights, super useful for tons of different lighting scenarios, anything from lighting under cabinets, creating mood lighting, practicals, that kind of stuff. We use them all over the studio. I regularly keep a tube light just in my car with me. Easy to like tape up or like twist tie, not twist tie. The little like clicky guys, you know what I'm talking about. Any kind of bar light. Bar lights are cool. They do make diffusers for bar lights too. I don't know if they're like bar light specific. I know I have a Neewer one, and having that little diffuser, super nice to have. Yeah, look at that. Aperture MT Pro, 36 pixel with the diffuser grid. Even comes with a little tripod. 159 bucks. 2000 to 10,000 Kelvin. Built-in battery. This is what I mean with like the tube lights. Just so much you can do with them. The fact that a lot of them are just onboard battery. Most of them are going to have like some type of magnet on them, so you can magnetize them towards stuff. Just very, very useful lights to have. I would even argue more useful than like a panel. Just personal opinion. But speaking of panels, got 15% off of the Aperture panel. Fun little thing. These are nice shooting weddings to have like on your camera cage and just like kind of highlight what's going on around the wedding during the reception. They're pretty light, not like throwing one of those small rig 60s on a magic arm on your camera, which again is just insanity to me. If you want to be holding that all day, go for it, but would be much more effective to just throw one of these on there. Panel lights, you'll see like there's a wide variety of prices on these things. LumeCube is another brand that we use. I actually lost my LumeCube panel, but this is what it looks like. This was a Valentine's Day gift for me, I think. And this is exactly how I used it. Outside of it, it was on the cage, but right on camera. LumeCube does have a pretty decent app. They sell kits with these things. So they make like a diffuser, they make a grid, they make barn doors. The Go is a very similar one, just a little bit smaller, it looks like. So good deals on those. 15% off on that one. 22% off on that one. 180 bucks. For a good panel light, that's about what you're looking for. Now you can get like cheap ones, but I'm a buy it once, buy it right kind of guy. One thing I do want to comment on, and I'm going to try and find it here. LumeCube makes a really cool desk light that is aesthetically pleasing, not intrusive to your space. It's actually what I use a lot of times when I'm like just need some light in here. Even sometimes for like shooting like my little content creation videos where I don't feel like turning on this full panel that's above my head right now. Soft lighting. And of course, it's going to make it impossible to find because I'm looking for it. We're going to go to the company page here. Photo video lights, desk lights. There it is. Edge light, this thing. So I actually have one of these on my desk right now. Love it. It's intuitive. It's easy to use. You can buy it in black or white. You know, you can get a 2-pack. Just very soft, very like pleasing to the eyes lighting. Really good for like, I use it a lot of times too when we're setting up like conference calls with bride and grooms and jump on there, just have this light where it's not like blaring at me. I also use it as a backlight to my monitors. So like if I'm sitting here editing for hours and hours at a time and don't want just so my walls are really dark in here, as you can tell. If I need something to just kind of like soften the punch of my monitors, the these little edge lights, awesome. They clamp right onto your desk. They're adjustable. You run a power supply right off of it. Little touch controls all up this section here. One of my favorite gifts that the missus has got me. And there is one other brand here that I want to touch on before we head over to small rig, because small rig is going to kind of stray us from our lighting path here. Newer, whatever you want to call them. So this light back behind us is actually a 200 watt newer that I got on a crazy deal from this place called MacBids. I got it for like $35, $45, something like that. We'll never see that price again. Tube light. So we actually own this tube light. The cool thing about it is it has the hue control like right on the panel. Double-edged sword. It's nice because you can dial it in right there without having to go to an app. Just make sure you lock it out whenever you're piddling around and moving your lights and stuff, because it does get frustrating whenever you accidentally change the light after you just dialed it in. These are 40 some dollars off, 30% off. Good Black Friday deal. These last a good while. Also DMX control on this, which at this price point's pretty crazy to me. Good built-in battery, but you can also power it off Type-C. Nice little control dials. Neewer's app is not awful. So just something to think about. And then there is like the step up, which is the 30 watt, 6,000 milliamp battery. And there's a 42 watt as well, which that looks like a 4-footer to me. So the one that we have is like a 2-footer. It looks like there's maybe a 3-footer here. And then this 4-footer. The 4-footer, while it would be nice to have, it's 30% off. So it's almost $100 off there. 4-foot's kind of one of those things you can't put anywhere, like, or everywhere rather. So I wouldn't mind having like 1 or 2 of these things, but those little 2-footers are just so handy. It comes with a nice little kit. This is the kit that I got with it has the little diffuser and the grid on it. Also has like a strap that you can strap it to stuff. Nice little mount that you can mount it onto a tripod or a light stand or something like that. And then the next one I want to touch on are these 2 little baby lights. These have been some of the most useful lights I've ever used. They are very basic. They're, not much to them. They are magnetic, which is so nice. I use these to light like smaller spaces or like, again, under cabinets, stuff like that. And they mount onto a camera really nicely. So a lot of times what I do with like my FujiFilm when I'm shooting a reception is I throw one of these on like a magic arm or just on like a little like a clamp and attach this right like above the lens far out to the front and just shoot away. Have a jolly good time with it. But being able to like stuff these into places and like that kind of stuff too is just super cool. I love these lights. I did fry one of them on accident by plugging in a power that was too much to it. So something to pay attention to. I think I ran like a 45 watt charger into it and might have fried the motherboard, but for $36, just buy like 10 of these things. Just kidding. You don't need to buy that many, but doesn't hurt to stock up on them. And then some good deals on like their RGB lights here. This is the light that we have running in the back there. I was wrong. It is not a 200 watt. It is a 320 watt. And you can light up an entire city block with this thing. All metal. It's built well. It does get really hot. Doesn't have like a ton of functionality or anything like that, but it's a nice little light. And $230, not bad. That's going to be like if you need to light a whole space. Most of the time, like 60 watts are going to be good for like these kind of videos. We're running like a newer panel right here right now. So So I have a little grid and a diffuser on it. I can show you what those look like. Very similar to this here. Came in a 2-pack, came with barn doors, nice light control, decent app control. You can power these with NPF batteries. Throw 2 NPF batteries on there, run it all day. Can't speak on the color accuracy of it, but right now I know we're a little bit warm. We're at like 4,700 Kelvin. Looks good to me. I also am in auto white balance because we're streaming. But some good deals out there. These are never bad things to have either. For 13 bucks, throw one of those in your cart before checkout. Parabolics, again, soft boxes are never a bad thing to have. Most of these lights that we're looking at right now are going to be Bowens mount. I have this exact one, and while I do like it, it is obnoxiously big. And when I say big, it's not big like around, it's like uncomfortably long. I would rather have a wider one, but you can get good soft boxes out there. That lantern that I have back there, good one. Small rig right here, 35-inch. That's a good one. There's going to be deals on these all over the place. So just check those out. This Godox is the lantern that we have, I think. Can't remember the exact size. But that's that lantern running in the back there. I think ours is a 65 centimeter. All right, let's jump over to Small Rig. Small Rig had some, again, they are a do-it-all company. Batteries, their batteries are great. I have used a ton of their batteries. I have their batteries in my FujiFilm. I have some of their NPFs. I have one of their V-mounts. All great little batteries to use. I like that they have the display on them. They last forever. These quick release plates are nice to have to like throw on like a light or something like that. Attach that to a cage, pop it on, pop it off. One of the most useful little accessories on the market, the Magic Arms. I have a few different types of these. They all work in essence the same. Got the tiny little guys. So those are going to work for smaller stuff. Got the 9.8s. We have a bunch of the 9.8s. I use these all the time just to clamp stuff up. I will attach a camera to them. If you cinch it down really good, you can trust pretty much anything on there. We use them for lights. We use them for cameras. We use them for clamping up like diffusers or flags, that kind of stuff. Great little gift idea for another photographer too, if you're looking to purchase some stuff for another photographer. These NPFs. So if you're looking into lighting and stuff like that, these actually have an input-output type C as well. 62 bucks on one of these NPF batteries, 21% off. You can also use these as a power bank. You can use them to, like, some of your cameras, you can even use these to power. So never a bad thing to invest in. Yeah, there's going to be some deals on pretty much everything here when it comes to Small Rig. Got some video lights on sale. I'm sure they have some tripods on sale. More little like magic arms with ball heads, matte boxes. Main thing I wanted to come over here for was the batteries, handles, cages, tiny weird looking lights, soft boxes. So, I mean, just check out Small Rig Store in general. All right. We're going to go over to some accessories and hit PGY Tech, or Piggy Tech, as I like to call them. Gift idea, huge gift idea. buy one for yourself, buy one for your friends, buy one for your family. I love these. We have two of them. We have a CF Express Type B one. That one is a little bit more expensive. Still very nice to have. I call them the SD magazine because it looks like a magazine to a thing. But what's really nice with these is they have the data transfer cable in them, so you can use them as a reader as well. So like on the go, clip this onto a backpack, even clip it onto your jeans. I've done that before. Take it with you, carry a few extra cards with you. Um, and then as soon as you're done shooting, pop that out and pop your card into the SD reader, upload your files right then and there. These are type C's. So unfortunately, like I'm on an iPhone 13. I'm still a lightning cable. You can get an adapter or whatever, but most of the time I just plug this into my iPad and we'll start editing like right there. During weddings, I take this with me, plug it in while I'm eating my dinner, and usually have my previews to the bride and groom before even the end of the night. The SD ones are significantly cheaper. So if you're just on SD cards, fret not, 31 bucks. That gets you a card reader, a holster, micro SDs. For some reason, it also holds SIM cards in case you are an international traveler or whatever. Still has that clamp on it. This one's a little bit smaller too. Just a nice little product to have. Very well thought out design. The Mantis Pod. So for a long time there, everyone was using the Gorilla Pods, the Jobies. This seems to have taken over in lieu of that now. Super useful. Has the little flip out clip on it, so you can hang it on stuff. Nice little tabletop tripod. Also functions as a handle. Just kind of a do everything little tripod. 55 bucks. They're usually 70 bucks. They also make the one with the built-in remote. If you're into that kind of stuff, not my thing, but for an extra $16, $15, I can get that remote on there. I'd rather just hit my record button, personal preference. But these Mantis Pods are all the rage right now. Their Beetle Clip system, I love. This is what I use on my backpack. It's going to be akin to pretty much your Peak Design, Quick Clip, your Ulanzi F38, Zero F38, whatever it is. Out of the ones that I've tried, I like the Piggy Tech the best. Fits on the backpack nicely. Doesn't seem to have any issues with like strap size or anything like that. And I do want to touch real quick on this backpack right here. No, the bigger one. This backpack. So this backpack is insane. It's an insane value. Crazy well built. This is what the Blackmagic goes in most of the time now, just because it's the one that I trust the most with a camera system that big. It's really comfortable. It has a ton of like little hook and latch points to it. It comes with the sling bag, so you're getting 2 packs in one. And just the cargo space on it is pretty wild, like how much you can fit in there. I love this camera bag so much. It comes in like a cool camo color too. If you're wanting something other than plain black, there is a bigger version available. If you need that much space, by all means, go for it. That's on sale too. But to get like similar comparable backpacks, you're looking at like 300 and some dollars for this size. Even like the Shimoda designs. I run a Shimoda when I'm hiking. The Explorer V35 or whatever it is. And these prices on the Shimodas can get like crazy expensive, like 400, sometimes $500. And you're getting a lot of the same features with it, with that Piggy Tech one. So yeah, $300 for a 25. Where's the V35 there? Normally, so this is on sale right now, obviously. Normally you're paying over 300 bucks for it, and still, even with less storage space and not getting the most of these don't even come with the camera cubes, just as a heads up too. So like you got to buy the backpack and then you got to buy the camera cube on top of it. Now I will say like these are very comfortable. If you're looking for like a hiking and outdoorsy pack, I would recommend this one just because it's a little bit more like custom tailorable to your body. But if you're looking for like a throw in the car and go and like a good put your camera bags in it to go shoot a wedding or that kind of stuff, this PGY tech is where it's at. Plus, it gives you that sling bag too. Like, no brainer. 2 bags in one. Their quick release systems too are something that's interesting. Now, I am a Peak Design guy. Just it's what I've had. It's what I know. But I've heard a lot of good things about their quick release system, and they are coming out with some really nice looking colors out there. The design to it's interesting. It looks very similar to the Peak Design, except for it's these little nubs, so they can actually like free rotate in there instead of being like the flat disc that's on the Peak Design that sometimes gets you a little tangled up. And they have quite a few different like straps. This one's like nice and padded, comes with their quick release clip. That quick release clip's going to work with their beetle clip and do that for you. Some nice colors like the olive, the navy. It looks like the cinches on those work really nicely too. And pretty cheap compared to the Peak Designs as well. So for the same setup for Peak Design, you're looking at like 50 bucks. And the Peak Designs don't even have any padding. So if you're tendency to get like sore, like your traps start to hurt or those straps dig in, it feels like a seat belt, these are probably going to be a little bit more comfortable. I want to pinpoint this one right here just because I love this color. Got a thing for brown. Brown and olive green are my go-to colors. Don't know why, just what I like. It's 23 bucks. So for the same thing from Peak Design, you're looking at 30 bucks, so like 7 bucks off. I can say from experience, I've had to replace the Peak Design one a few times, mainly because I sweat, but also I've just worn them out. So yeah, there's the Peak Design version. 27 bucks, so $6 difference. Not as many color offerings. Peak Design has like sage blue, gray, black. And the discs instead of the little nubs. We're going to jump over to SD cards. And I've kind of already got a list here actually started. So we're just going to go into my cart. And I've already saved some of the ones that I think are worth looking at. Going to be very camera dependent, so it helps to know what you have and what you need. ProGrade are some of the best on the market. This is a 250 V60, 15 bucks off on it, 128 gig, not a bad price. I'll go over these pretty quickly. This is a UHS-2, so also a V60, 280 read, 210 write, 128 gig, 46 to 69. Jumping down to a V30 on the SanDisk. This is probably my most commonly used card because they do handle speeds pretty well. Usually run these in my R6 or the FujiFilm. 18 bucks. Stock up on these. The Lexar 128, these are exclusively what I run in my Fujifilm, unless I need to like bump to like a SanDisk if I have like a few cards full. We have 3 of these. 29 bucks is a hell of a deal on them, especially for a UHS-2 and a V60. Read writes on these are going to be pretty quick, no issues. No, I'm not having a child. I let one of my buddies use my Amazon So he gets his little Prime discount and ship stuff to himself. Wouldn't be bad to have for the dogs, though. Truly. Great deal on that if you got a kid. And then let's, while we're at it, we'll check out some CF Express Type Bs. Again, good deals on the Lexars, good deals on the Pro grades. 512 is a massive, I mean, for all intent and purposes. 1 terabyte Angel Bird for $199. Insanity. That makes me want to spend some money right there. I love the Angel Bird ones. Last one I bought was a 512. Angel Bird's a super reliable company, and that's pretty much all they make, I think, is solid state drives, SD cards, CF Expresses, that kind of stuff. Very reputable in the cinematography industry. $199 for a terabyte is a crazy good price. I also want to touch real quick over on this ProGrade. This is a CF Express Type A, but there is going to be a Type B version as well. Right here. So not a deal on these, but as a gift idea, it says very good read-write speeds, super fast. Again, the same exact one I use, worth the $79, and being able to throw a CF Express and an SD card up to a UHS-2 in there. Keep an eye out on that. It may, yeah, as you can see, last purchase, May 22nd, 2023. Still going strong. We're going to bounce back here, though. I still can't believe that price on the Angel Bird 1 terabyte. Crazy. Maybe they've gotten cheaper since I bought them last. No. There's like that OWC one. $350 for a 1 terabyte. I mean, the read-write speeds are a little bit different, but truly, anything is going to be faster than an SD card, so you're going to notice that. Pro Cinema, 320 gig, $150. And that's only 1,400 megabytes. All right, jumping off of here. We're going to cover tripods. Tripods are arguably one of a more important accessory than most, especially if you're shooting weddings. I like running a video tripod when I'm shooting weddings. Landscapes, again, travel tripod, something light. We did use the Ulanzi there for a while and did not have good luck with it. So I do not recommend Ulanzi products ever. I'm still continuing my beef with them, probably till I die. Mainly because of their customer service. But, you know, if you got any questions on that, feel free to ask or refer to my other videos. Peak Design Travel Tripod, 20% off. So $120 off on this. This is known to be one of the better ones on the market. Built well, carbon fiber, super light, packs into a backpack nicely. Tons of landscape photographers use this. This is the one I wish I would have bought. I also just like the leg design on this instead of being like a circular leg. I like how they all kind of flush in together and compact down nicely. Functions with the Peak Design quick releases. That is a double-edged sword. I don't like quick release plates. Not a fan of them. I think they are more of a hindrance than they are worth if you were trying to switch out different systems. We use a lot of different systems here, and while I understand the point of them and how useful they can be, they become a hindrance when they only work on one system. That is not necessarily a bad thing. Like, I understand it, and if you're just using Peak Design, like, great. But if there are other ones that you need to use, for example, like if you have to swap into a 0F38 or certain cage types or, just a multitude of different things, I think the quick releases are more of a hindrance than they're worth. But hot take, whatever. Let's check here. So Neewer, nice little carbon fiber tripod here. This also appears to be a quick release plate. Four side archetype slots. Okay, so dual compatibility square QR plate. So this one works with Peak Designs as well, and it's Arca Swiss compatible. Love that. That is what everything should be. Everything should be multiple compatible. Quit being stingy with your ecosystems. Let them all work together. Good deal on that, though, especially for a carbon fiber pod. I'm curious the weight on it. 1.18 ounces. Super light. Also has the flippy ones, not the twisty ones. Look at you go there, Neewer. Sirui makes some great tripods too. They're kind of a video company, not you, Siri. There's for sure a monopod I want to check out on those. I think it was on sale. We do have this tripod as well. One gripe with this thing, while it is nice, it is super light. The ball head on it is super tiny, and it makes me nervous. Outside of that, good little tripod. Very light also. 0.85 kilograms. I'm an American, so can't read that. No. Multiply that by 2.2. Anyway, KNF Concepts is known to make really good budget-friendly stuff. So we'll jump in on some of these. If you're looking for a cheapie, just getting started tripod, again, Arca Swiss is always going to be better than like some Walmart proprietary junk. Prefer that you do something that is either a very nice sturdy plastic or like a lightweight aluminum. As you can see, this is an aluminum material, so already off to a good start. $42.49. Great beginner tripod. Nice little travel outdoors one. Still pretty light, 1.15 kilograms. Has some good features. Ball head looks nice on it. 163 centimeter tall. So it goes up to 64.1 inches. Can be folded down to 15 inches. Net weight with ball head is 2.5 pounds. Cool. Nice little throw in the backpack one there. I'm going to check out this Sirui monopod. This is what I use for wildlife and sports. Where are you at here? This guy right here, 70 bucks. 8% off. Not a huge deal. I did buy another ball pod with it, or ball head with it. The twisties, not my favorite. Understand why they are the way they are on a tripod, though, or on a monopod. Does have the little spike that ejects out of the bottom. That is always in there, and you just twist that bottom piece to make it pop out. Super useful for not only using it as a walking stick, but also just giving you a little bit more stability in some weirder situations like mud, dirt, dust, sand, snow, ice, the lot. And actually, this right here is the ball head that I put on it, which worked really nicely. So a little bit expensive, but for a good carbon fiber monopod that you can also use as a walking stick, great for, again, wildlife sports, adds a lot of stability. And then there is a specific company that I want to check out here that has been piquing my interest lately. Look how beautiful the design is on this. So we're going to check this. $400. So cheaper than the Peak design still. This is a really, really cool design. I wish it was on a Black Friday deal. And who knows, maybe it will like go on one. I think you can only buy direct from them currently. Yeah, that's how it's looking to be currently. But basically, there's arguably three tripods here. From my understanding of this, now this comes with your ball head. I do believe it works with the quick release Peak design system as well. But the cool thing with it is there's this little tripod that comes with it. So you can run this as a tabletop tripod or as a lower sitting landscape tripod. And then if you need to like extend out more, you have the full size. All while still being pretty light. And let's see if they give us a weight here. Extends up to almost 60 inches, 55-pound capacity. Removable ball head. Fast setup. Again, it has the swoopy things, not the twisty things. Spiked feet, counterweight lanyard, etc., etc. I wish it would give us a weight. It's the one thing. Total weight, 3 pounds. 3 pounds, you get 2 tripods, a great ball head with a quick release system that functions with their quick release and the Peak design. Also has included tools. Is, we'll say, serviceable. Cool. No Black Friday sale on that, though. And last but not least, we're going to hit some backpacks here. I'm starting to hit a point of the night where I'm sleepy. Last section, we're going to do some bags. So we'll hit Peak Design up. I'm just going to go direct to website for these ones. We're also going to check out Nomadic. Looks like there's going to be some good sales on Nomadic. Peak Design is going to have some good sales. We're also going to take a look at Wandered. $20 to 40% off at Wandered. Heck yeah. Nice. And then one last one. Why am I drawing a blank? We already looked at Shimoda. Oh, well. That's it. That's all we're looking at. So, first and foremost, Nomadic. I have the Peter McKinnon 8-liter sling. It is built extremely well. I love all of the Nomadic stuff. I think the design on them is beautiful. They are finally starting to come out with some cooler colors. As you can see, like with these Luma series ones, nice colors on these. The Pete McKinnons are all pretty much black on black on black, with the nice tan interiors. But I like that they're starting to expand their design a little bit. This is the one I have here. So they do some really cool things with their integration in these products. Little SD card slots, battery holders. Something that you can't see here is like lens filter holders, kind of where my mouse is sitting. So a lot of times, like I will throw like a lens filter in there or like an SSD or something like that. A lot of times I can fit my FujiFilm, one of my EF lenses, and then a smaller lens over here as well. These are pass-through, so if you want to throw it on luggage, it's easy to throw on luggage, and they're extremely comfortable. Very well built. I would have no qualms about spending money on Peak Design or pneumatic stuff again, just because of the quality of the stuff that you're getting. They are a little bit expensive for what they are. I mean, functionality wise, but you can see that in the end product that they put a lot of care into the quality. So we have really good deals here, like their travel backpacks, even on their luggage. Um, and they just do really nice, like innovative things. So a lot of backpacks you won't see some of the design features that these have, like their pockets, their stretchy materials that are just very high quality feeling. Now, I will say, like, my one gripe with a lot of the pneumatic stuff, and this is just because I like having a waist belt. I don't believe they have a pack with a substantial waist belt to it. Now that Peter McKinnon one will sit nicely, but like if you compare that to like the Shimoda Designs one, the Shimoda has a much more robust. Oh, why did we click on Wandered? The Shimoda Designs has a much more robust waist belt on it, and that's going to be able like it's going to support the weight a lot better if you're doing like long hikes and that kind of stuff. So if you're a hiker, I definitely would recommend going with the Shimoda. Like if you're outdoors, getting out there in the muck of it and need a rugged pack that supports nicely, is going to be good for hiking, is going to be good for, longer treks. Definitely Shimoda is the way to go. But outside of that, back onto the pneumatics, design wise, gorgeous design. We'll check out that Luma collection because these are pretty affordable ones too. So something like the Sling, like under $100 on a Sling. Now, of course, you can get like nicer, cheaper ones, but from a design standpoint, these Lumas look nice. Nice little patches and just again, quality materials. You're getting what you pay for with these. Got some good deals on luggage here. All right, over to Peak Design. Everyday backpack with the flippy top. So, love this color. Is this the coyote? Yeah, this is the new color they released. Um, I think Peak Design's expensive for what they are, but kind of the same thing as the pneumatics. You're getting very high quality materials on these. A lot of people said that they like the version 1 of this better than the version 2. I don't know that this is one that I would particularly purchase, but we also have like 4 backpacks already, so I might get evicted if I bought another backpack. But some good deals on here if those are ones that you're looking at. Duffel bags, super interesting. Always useful to have a duffel bag. That's not a bad price on that either, especially if you compare it to like the Yetis or something like that. The Yeti ones are like 40 liters and go for double that price. Cool. Uh, Sorry, brain freeze. Over to Wandered. All right, now I do have some experience with Wandered. This is the backpack I got for Jen for I think Valentine's Day. The purple is super pretty. Very high quality materials on this. It's almost like a nubuck, like a rubbery. I don't even know how to explain it. Holds up really well against the elements. Wandered is kind of like Shimoda, where a lot of times you're having to buy the camera cubes. Like I got her the Provoke Light. So the Provoke Light has the built-in. Let's see here. It has the built-in cube. which was nice. Um, Kind of takes away from some of the flexibility of it, but I will say, like, she fits her 35 millimeter, a 100 millimeter, her R7, some extra batteries, and her 100 to 500 in there. So you can fit a good bit in it. Um, when you go to the full size Provoke, at least last I checked, these do not include the camera cube. Now you can get different sizes. I like their little like latch system up here that you can expand the size to it. They have some nice colors, and I think their colors are where they shine in this department. They do have like a lot of like nice personal colors. Um 40% off on the green and the blue, 20% off on the other colors. If you're not like a huge color person, if you're fine with just like whatever, that 40% off definitely makes it worth it. But here's where you get a little bit expensive. Is this is bag only. So if you want to add like the waist strap, the camera cube, you're looking at another 51 bucks. If you're looking for the pro camera cube that adds a little bit more size to it, you're looking at another $75. So there you're already getting into, you know, back up into that $200 price range. I will say, like, material wise, I don't think these are quite as nice as like my Nomadic. They are very good. Don't get me wrong. Um, but I think quality wise, like I feel the Nomadic is a little bit more luxury feeling, and this is a little bit more I don't want to say rugged, but because it's nowhere near like what the Shimoda is. But these fall in like a really weird space of like being a happy medium between the two of them. Colors are the big thing with these. They're just pretty backpacks. They're nice looking, they're aesthetically pleasing. Same thing with their slings. Like you can do a good bit with their sling bags, throw a tripod on it, fit a good bit of camera gear in there. And then it kind of like you get to personalize it a little bit. Like you get to pick a color that you feel represents you more. Um, do not have any experience with the Stratus backpack, so can't speak on that one, but it's cool looking. And then you get into these big ones, the big boys. And before we roll out of here, I am going to go over Shimoda's real quick because they just have a special little place in my heart. I love my Shimoda backpack. When I ordered it, kind of hurt my soul to spend that much money on it. And then when I got it in, I was like, oh no, worth every penny. Even more so when I'm out on a hike, just remembering how comfortable that is and just feeling confident in like that my gear is protected. It's, I don't have to worry about like rain and stuff like that. It does have the rain fly on it, but like even if it starts raining and I don't get my rain fly on like right then and there, still have utmost confidence in this. They're fairly light. I do like that they have the frames on them. So up in this section on the top here, I'm going to zoom in for you. There is actually a frame on this akin to like a hiking backpack. And you can fit, even in this like 35 liter, you can fit a ton of stuff into it. And it supports the weight so nice. And then again, like the straps are so customizable to each person. The waist strap's customizable. There's two sleeves on the inside, so you can fit like a keyboard and a laptop or an iPad or whatever. They have special little cutouts just for like your wireless microphones. Like if you're running a Rode mic or a DJI mic, the little water bottle sleeve, which I actually carry my bear spray in, and then just a very, very well thought out design, very high quality materials, good zippers on it. I cannot speak good enough about. Again, I have the V30, the V235, but I think any of these backpacks, from my experience, are just going to serve your like avid outdoorsman, your wildlife photographer, your landscape photographer. This is the backpack you want, and it's worth. I mean, again, it's a little bit expensive, but it's worth every penny of it. I think we have covered just about everything there is to cover. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you have any questions or if you want to jump on and ask questions, I know this is live, but I'm going to post this video up for, sake of debate and all that stuff. Happy to answer any questions for you guys, and keep an eye out for some more deals that are coming up. This is my first live, so cool. I had fun. I basically just got to sit here and shop, which is one of my favorite things to do. And we'll be back posting more videos throughout the holiday season. If you could hit that like and subscribe button, it helps the channel, and we will see you next time.